Calling this hearing to order. For the record, my name is Kenzie Bach. I'm the District 8 City Councilor and also the Chair of the Council's Committee on City Services and Innovation Technology, joined here by my colleague, Councilor Erin Murphy at large. This hearing is being recorded. It is being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-tv and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and FiOS Channel 964. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.csit@boston.gov and will be made part of the record and available to all councilors. We'll also be taking public testimony at the end of this hearing, so if you wish to sign up for public testimony here in the chamber, you can go in the corner over there by the door. There are sign-up sheets. And if you want to testify virtually, please email Megan Kavanaugh for the link, and we'll add your name to the queue for Zoom. So that's meghan@boston.gov. Megan.Kavanaugh. Today's hearing is on a number of dockets, and so I'm going to read them all into the record now. Docket 0362, message in order to reduce the FY23 appropriation for the Reserve for Collective Bargaining by $164,448 to provide funding for the Boston School Department for the FY23 increase contained within the collective bargaining agreement between the Boston School and the New England Police Benevolent Association, Local 160, Boston School Police Patrolmen's Association. Docket 0363, message in order to reduce the FY23 appropriation for the Reserve for Collective Bargaining by $1,283,486 to provide funding for the Boston Public Schools and the City Housing Trust Fund for the FY23 cost contained within the collective bargaining agreement between the Boston School Committee and Local 1952 Painters Allied Trade District Council Number 35, School Custodians. Docket 0365, message in order approving a supplemental appropriation of $1,283,486 to cover the FY18 costs contained within the collective bargaining agreement between the Boston School Committee and Local 1952 Painters and Allied Trade District Council Number 35, School Custodians. The terms of the contract are September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2026. The major provisions of the contracts include base wage increases of 2% in September and then a base wage increase of 2.5% to be given in September of 2022, 23, and 24, and then a base wage of 2% to be given in September 24 and 25. And one moment. Did I skip one? Okay, okay. I believe I just read all four of 362, 363, 364, and 365. Those matters were all sponsored by the administration and referred to the committee on February 1st, 2023. Also noticed for this hearing are docket 0370, message in order for your approval in order to reduce the FY23 appropriation for the Reserve for Collective Bargaining by $1,079,770 to provide funding for the Boston Public Schools for the FY23 increases contained within the collective bargaining agreement between the Boston Public Schools and the United Steelworkers Local 2936 bus monitors. Docket 0371, message in order for a supplemental appropriation order for the Boston Public School Department for FY23 in the amount of $1,079,770 to cover the FY23 costs contained within the collective bargaining agreements between the Boston Public Schools and the United Steelworkers Local 2936 bus monitors. The terms of the contract are July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2025, a base wage increase of 1.5 in September 21 and rate adjustments in September 22, and then a base wage of 2% to be given in September 2023 and 2024. Docket 0372, message in order for your approval in order to reduce the FY23 appropriation for the Reserve for Collective Bargaining by $703,939 to provide funding for the Boston Public Schools for the FY23 increases contained within the collective bargaining agreements between the Boston Public and the Administrative Guild, SEIU Local 888. And then docket 0373, message in order for a supplemental appropriation order for the Boston Public Schools Department for FY23 in the amount of $703,939 to cover the FY23 cost items contained within the collective bargaining agreements between the Boston Public Schools and the Administrative Guild, SEIU Local 888. The terms of the contract are September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2024. The major provisions of the contract include base wage increases of 2%, 2.5%, 2.5%, and 2.5% to be given in September of each fiscal year of the contract term. Those 4 matters were also sponsored by the administration, and they were referred to the committee on February 8th, 2023. So if you're watching at home and you wondered why I had to read all that stuff, it's because for every collective bargaining agreement that is reached between the administration and various unions of city workers, there has to be funding that's appropriated from the city council, and it takes 2 orders to do that. One of them kind of pulls money out of the reserve account that we've been holding it in, and the other actually applies it to the departments. So we have 4 such contracts to discuss today, and so there are therefore 8 dockets. And sorry for all of the procedural matters. We're going to be hearing today from Jim Williamson, our Director of the Office of Budget Management here in the City of Boston, Jeremiah Hassan, the Director of Labor Relations for Boston Public Schools, and David Bloom, the Deputy Chief Financial Officer for Boston Public Schools. Just before I go to the panel, I want to read a absence letter into the record from Council President Flynn, who's almost always with us for these collective bargaining hearings. Dear Councillor Bach, please be advised that I am unable to attend today's hearing on dockets 0362 to 0365 and dockets 0370 to 0373, a hearing to discuss appropriations to cover the cost increases in various collective bargaining agreements. I will review the tape of the hearing when it becomes available. Thank you for your leadership on this matter. Sincerely, Ed Flynn, Boston City Council President, District 2. So we're sorry to be missing Councillor Flynn. Yeah, I think, and just the other context I would say, and the reason, we had a bunch of hearings kind of focused on the pattern of contractual arrangements that had been reached mainly with city departments as opposed to BPS ones for kind of the 2020 to 2023 period. These are mostly BPS ones, and they are they do not follow that pattern. They, are also in many cases stretching out for a longer term than the ones that we've heard on before. So it's really just a chance for the committee to understand sort of each of these, which are for bus monitors, administrative guild members, custodians, and I think our and safety service specialists. So it's to understand those, but also to understand kind of at a macro level the bargaining approach of the schools in the city jointly. So with that, I'll pass it off to Jim Williamson.
Thank you, Chair Bach and Councilor Murphy, for giving us this opportunity to talk about these 4 collective bargaining agreements and the impact to the city's budget. I'm here to address all the 8 appropriation orders as you enumerated, and I'm joined by my colleagues from the BPS to talk about the details of the contract. So as you noted, dockets 0362 and 0363 both reduce the reserve and add money to the BPS appropriation for $164,448 for the School Police Association. Dockets 0364 and 0365 take $1,283,486 from the city's reserve and add it to the BPS appropriation. Dockets 0370 and 0371 take $1,079,770 from the collective bargaining reserve and add to the BPS budget for school bus monitors. And lastly, dockets 0372 and 0373 take $703,939 from the city's collective bargaining reserve and add it to the BPS budget. This overall changes the BPS budget by $3.2 million. And as the council remembers, the FY23 budget passed in Boston City Council in June 2022 with $75.4 million in the reserve in aggregate to cover all of the collective bargaining agreements anticipated for the city. Since July 1st, 2022, the City Council has passed 9 CBA supplements drawing on the CBA, the collective bargaining reserve, totaling $36 million. The several city contracts, BPHC and BPS unions. What we're dealing with today is exclusively for BPS unions. With this reduction of $3.2 million for these 4 unions, the new balance of the collective bargaining reserve will be $36.2 million. And with that, I will turn it over to BPS.
So Council, thank you for having us. I guess just to give a very brief overview, we'll take you through, as you see, some of the agreements that we're looking at today are fairly straightforward, in line with the 4-year pattern that we have seen. That's the Administrative Guild unit, which is covered local SEIU, Local 888. That's fairly straightforward, just the wage increases. When you look at our Patrolmen's Association, which is now our safety service specialists, it's also a fairly straightforward general wage increase agreement with some slight revisions to language, kind of updating their parental leave and military leave to be consistent with the current city policies, and kind of codifying some of the recent reform language into their agreement. I don't know if you have any questions on those two. Are pretty straightforward. Then obviously we look at the bus monitors, and the custodians are a little longer in duration. And the reason I think for the custodians, we have a fairly strong contract with them. I think both parties are in a good place with it, and wanted kind of that long-term stability under the current agreement. So you'll see there's a little bit more length there, some minor changes, a couple additional benefits to the unit. We added a sick bank program, which some of our other units have, central office have, so we felt like that was fair and equitable to include that with our custodians. Adjusted some of their sick time allotment and language related to challenging buildings in the district, which gives us a little bit more flexibility on which custodians are assigned to those buildings. So we were able to agree to a longer term with the custodians, which we think is good for kind of continuity, consistency among the parties. We think the agreement is a fair, equitable deal when you look as it compares to our other bargaining units that we've already signed, ones that we're working on, and ones that we're here to address today. When we look at the bus monitors, I think you'll notice a change here with the COVID market adjustment as one of the wage increases. And this is one unit where, when we compare to other units in the state for similar work, and recognizing that we're having challenges recruiting these positions, we felt like something more than just the standard wage adjustment was necessary to help recruit and retain employees into these positions. So you'll see that's where, in addition to kind of the standard wage pattern, we had the COVID market adjustment in FY 23 to kind of match what we hope will be a competitive rate compared to districts that compete for similar type talent, and in order to retain our employees who are currently in that role. So that's kind of a very broad overview. I think if you look at the bus monitors, we also added some paid time off for these employees in the winter vacation, and to choose either between February and April vacation, they can take advantage of that. Again, in an effort to make these positions more attractive and hopefully recruit more employees and retain those employees that we have. So I think that was just a very broad overview. I don't know if you have more specifics or if David wants to weigh in from a budget perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to questions in a moment, but it's probably best if David also, David, if you had anything to say.
No, I have nothing to add to what my colleagues covered.
All right, then in that case, I will go to Councilor Murphy's questions first and then to mine. Councilor Murphy?
Thank you. And thank you for being here. I have also been at all of these hearings about collective bargaining, and in the absence of Council President Flynn, I'll say what he says every time, and Jim, you probably know it verbatim, is this the best we can do? But I do just want to take a step back, because I guess in my second year now on the council, you learn more your first year through. So is this all just theatrics? I don't know. But on Wednesday, there was all of our municipal police filled this room. And we all stood up, and many took the opportunity to speak at the mic about how we care about the pay of our city employees, and we'll do anything we can. But then we come to hearings like this, and we just say, okay, 1%'s enough, 2%'s enough. So when are we going to have that conversation about what is enough to pay? And I think it's going to have to come soon, because we also have 357 waivers last year for residency, and only 68% of them were pools. I looked into the breakdown to make sure, because I was also advocating to make sure that our BCYF pools are open for many social, emotional, mental health reasons, physical health reasons, and 68 waivers were granted, which was good to get some of the staffing issues to keep our pools open. But we're giving more residency waivers because we don't pay our city employees enough, and the cost of living in the city is so high. So at some point, I hope we get off this, chicken or egg conversation. I do just also want to say, for the record, as a former BPS teacher and BTU member, I did not vote in favor of the budget in June. I know it passed overall, but I didn't vote in favor, and one of the reasons was these conversations we need to have about not just how much are we paying our custodians or our bus monitors, but how much are we investing in athletics and others, which I know we'll have those conversations coming up. But I just hope that we can be honest and it not be political going forward, and that we really do look at, can the city afford it? Because if we can't, then I guess it's a different conversation we have to have. Because if we can't afford to pay our employees across the board, because as you all know, you're money people, numbers people, once you raise one person's salary, it goes across. I mean, we have managers that are being paid less than employees now in many departments because we advocated that they got paid more. And I think back from when myself and many colleagues and the mayor and others, stood on a very hot day in Brookline, Boston, right on the line there at a Starbucks, to advocate that baristas are getting paid $27 an hour. Can the store stay open? I don't know. Do people deserve a fair wage, a living wage? Yes. So I just hope, I know that this hearing is not when that conversation will happen, but I know that we will go through budget season, and many people who have been through it before will say, when do we say no more? When do we stop rubber stamping, especially the BPS budget that continues to grow, because the return on investment is not that great for the transportation. I know we included in this is the bus drivers, which is important to have a strong contract there. But my last note, and I thank you for highlighting that the custodians, depending on building, and I thought it often when the nurses, and there was a push to have a nurse in every school. It's a very different job to be a nurse at the Murphy School who has severely disabled students, many classrooms of students with feeding tubes and wheelchairs with, breathing apparatus, and a behavior lab who many students are medicated, compared to a school like the Beethoven, who is a small, under 200, So we do have to look also at what is fair for custodians. Some custodians have much different jobs, even though it is a school assignment. But thank you for bringing that up, because I do think that that has to be a bigger conversation, and I'm glad that we're starting to listen to the union who has been pushing for that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. So just a couple of questions from me. Well, one thing, just because it's where Councilor Murphy ended, was, can you just describe, I don't think I quite understand the challenged buildings change, and I don't have the experience in the schools that Councilor Murphy does, so can you just explain that to me?
Yeah, so over the years, there's been a group of buildings that have been identified in the district as being more challenging, creating unique issues. And now some of them are just the general size of the building. So we have Madison Park, for example, houses more custodians than anywhere else in the district, I believe. I think that's accurate. And so what this language does is, one, it pays a stipend to custodians who are brought in as the senior custodians at those buildings, but it also gives the school leader and facilities the ability to pick who will be in those senior roles, as opposed to simply relying on the seniority system for bidding into the buildings. So you see it at Madison Park. I know White Stadium is another one that requires a unique set of skills to handle, groundskeeping and things like that might not be as important at some of our other buildings with less agricultural concerns in play. So there's a certain number of buildings that we've added to this list, and that's the union likes it because it offers a stipend in these buildings, and the school leaders and facilities likes it because it gives a little bit more say in who ends up in those buildings, making sure that they are the right fit for the building. As Counselor, as you pointed out, being a custodian at maybe the Beethoven or the Manning, one of our smaller schools, is not the same. It doesn't require the same skill set as being at Madison Park or maybe BLS or White Stadium or some of these other bigger, more challenging buildings. So it's kind of, we see these adding to this list is kind of a win-win. It puts a little bit more money in certain custodians' pockets as they take on a little bit more responsibility, and it gives us control over who can fill those roles.
Great, got it. That helps me. And I assume that where we've got these $1,000 one-time benefits, which is the lump sum payments that we've done for a number of employees who served with us through COVID. I saw in one of the agreements that the sort of detail said, in the last pay packet of December 22, but obviously that's passed. So am I right in assuming that as soon as the council approves this, that will get interpreted as immediately?
So the $1,000 bonuses are largely being paid out of federal funds as opposed to city funds. So I will double check on exactly when they're paid, but I believe they could be paid in theory as soon as the school committee approves the agreement. But I will double check. Yes, they will be interpreted as soon as possible if they have not yet been paid.
Hasn't the school committee already approved all these agreements?
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe those $1,000 lump sum payments should have already gone out as part of the tentative agreement.
I see, because it doesn't require the appropriation.
It doesn't
price.
require the appropriation.
Got it. So that's why, because I was confused as to how something that just got settled could have a December 22.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And just, for folks' reference at home, I think Jeremiah made reference to a sort of pattern here for the custodians, the administrative guild, and the safety services folks. The pattern is from 2020 through 2023 is a 2% increase, a 2.5%, a 2.5%, and a 2.5%. So when you add those up together, it's a 9.8% increase over 4 years. And just for folks' reference, that, of course, and that's all kind of accomplished by September of this year. So even though the inflationary environment is quite substantial right now, obviously that's it's stretching back rather than forward. So it accomplishes a pay increase of 9.8% for somebody who is waiting for this contract to be ratified right now, in terms of where they are today and where they will be in September of this year, is a 9.8% increase with those 4 years. So I just want to highlight that, because I agree with Councilor Murphy that figuring out how to get our lowest paid employees better compensated and make those roles more attractive is critical. But I do think that when you're going back to 2020 and adding these up, it's a significant increase effective for September, which is great. Obviously, you're then going to immediately be in a bargaining situation again with most of these units, except for the custodians, because of the extension over 2 more years. And so I think it's important to bear in mind what Councilor Murphy said, what Councilor Flynn, as she said, would say if he was here, and certainly how I and the council, I think, all feel as expressed about the municipal police officers last week. I'm especially encouraged to see this kind of bigger adjustment happening for the bus monitors, because it's been, the bus monitors not showing up just creates such a cascade of failures in terms of like kids' access to education. And both for the student who needs the monitor, for other students on the bus. I mean, it's just, it's really, really a very difficult situation for our families and children. And so really appreciate kind of trying to move that up significantly, because I know we've dealt in a lot with people just kind of leaving those roles because there's something else that pays better. I still think, and it's neat to see. I mean, I think the paid time off during winter break and April breaks maybe helps again to make it a more sustainable thing for people to do. As you think about like whether it's somebody's like kind of main thing, or something that they're doing very provisionally and looking for an alternative. I guess I wonder, there's a reference in our summary to adjusted run rates to $2 increase per run until it is managerially feasible to transition to hourly pay.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit more insight into what that is a reference to?
Yes, so in the current, or in the previous contract, sorry, I have a last exit, this exit moment. In the contract that's prior to the one that is before us today, bus monitors were paid per run as opposed to hourly. Part of this contract is a transition to an hourly rate, which by itself we think will raise monitors' pay, and then an increase to that proposed hourly rate. You have to change a lot of the back-end mechanics to start paying someone hourly in that way versus per run. So monitors, right now, they just sign in for the runs they worked, and they usually sign in at a school that they work that run. We're now going to need them to sort of effectively clock in and clock out at every shift. And so there's a lot of sort of logistics we need to work out. And one thing we wanted to make sure that happened was the sort of effect of the market adjustment was felt during that logistics period. And so the $2 adjustment is basically saying, in this period where there isn't a percent increase, as there's sort of a period in the middle of the contract where there's no percent increase because we're switching to hourly. In lieu of the hourly, we think this per run increase will roughly match sort of the idea of the COVID market adjustment until we can get that hourly shift in place.
And what do you think the timeline is for getting the hourly shift in place?
I think we're all hoping to have it up by the start of the year, the start of next school year.
Start of next school year.
But it's a lot to put in place.
And in general, where are we, if the council votes on Wednesday, as I expect to recommend, for these to be funded? Obviously, I know we've had difficulties with payroll on the BPS side, and obviously we approved the BPS teachers contract a while back, and have continued to hear challenges. So, what can our expectation be about, like when the folks who we're talking about today will actually receive the retro pay increases?
So I think one benefit we have is these contracts are a little bit easier to execute than the BTU contract, which is a little bit more complex. I don't know that I have a firm date on the retro. I don't know if you got one.
What I have been told is that typically it is roughly like 6 to 8 weeks to do some of the calculations and get the retro out. I don't think we can commit to that absolutely, but I think that is a general timeline that these contracts have taken in the past to fully implement, which would be calculating and one, increasing the rates so that people are seeing that in their real paycheck, but then also going back and doing the calculations for how much retro each employee is paid for prior work. I believe the estimated timeline is like 6 to 8 weeks on that.
Okay, so I think this committee would like to get an update on that timeline, and also we'd like to be informed kind of with each of these contracts once the retro pay has been achieved. so that we kind of can know that this money is getting out the door. It would also be, I would particularly like to know when the bus monitor, well, so two things. When the implementation of this without the change to hourly has been achieved with bus monitors, and then an update on the timeline for switching to the hourly. As you know, the residency waiver related to bus monitors was contingent on, like, once we fill 85% of the roles, the sort of residency snaps back in. And so I'm very interested with my other hat, serving on the residency commission, and kind of like, you know, I think we all suspect, and Councilor Murphy also made reference to this, that in a lot of cases where we're temporarily lifting residency, the real solution is pay increase. And so would really like to understand the timeline of sort of like point in time, where are we in bus monitors today? Where are we in bus monitors, like, you know, on day zero when we change the hourly rate, and then kind of like where are we as it goes in? Because I think it's important for the city as it thinks about low-wage workers in general to kind of like think about the relationship between those things and understand our hiring patterns given the wage changes.
Yeah. And I do know Superintendent Skipper has made it a priority to kind of review all of these salaries and the increases, or the impacts of these increases, and whether, you know, more needs to be done in the future. She has made that one of her priority items for working with all her employees, both, you know, the units we're discussing here and across the board.
Okay, and then the reference in the safety service officer modifications to added the police reform agreement language to contract. I assume that's a reference to the state police reform law that was passed a few summers ago now, but can you just specify for me?
Correct, yeah. So at the time, that certainly had a major impact on the working conditions of those employees, but it was kind of a mid-bargaining cycle. So we met and impact bargained over what the loss of their police power would be, kind of shifting from the police style uniforms that they were wearing to a little bit different uniform for the safety service specialists. So there's some language like that that we have now incorporated into the contract.
Got it, okay. All right, I think those are all my questions. Let me just, and I want to thank you guys also for providing all of the backup information on the contracts, and we've got those for counselors and members of the public as they wish. Let me just check if there's any public testimony. Okay, we don't have any public testimony signed up. So like I said, I am planning to recommend council approval of these dockets at our meeting on Wednesday. We do want to get those folks their money as soon as possible, so I am going to just ask BPS to hold up your end on that front and, you know, get it out to people as soon as possible, and also just keep us apprised of the progress on that front. Any concluding comments?
Great, thank you. No, I just want to thank, well, I have the opportunity to thank the bargaining teams for the units that we've worked on these agreements for. I think, you know, we have good working relationships with all of our opposing negotiators, whether the bus monitors, Gail, Titus Jefferson, and Lowell Alexander. We have Neil O'Brien, John Magner, Tom McKeever from the SEIU. We have Mike Lafferty, David Jelly from the Custodians, and Dave Pender from the Patrolmen Association. We were able to work out what we think is fair agreements on all behalf. So I want to thank them for their cooperative efforts and being able to work with us to get good deals done.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that shout out. It's definitely a case of kind of like loyal opposition, right? We all have roles, and the Office of Labor Relations is negotiating on behalf of the city, and our labor reps are, you know, for the unions are on the other side of the table, but that both sides of that table are very important to the city of Boston, and it's super important to us that the really valuable work these folks do is well compensated and draws people to the city and keeps people working for the city. So. Yeah. And these are definitely folks, when you talk about custodians, bus monitors, you know, our safety service folks, and the administrative guild people, like that kind of clerical work, it keeps the world spinning around. So we definitely can't run the schools without all of service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. And seeing no public testimony, now I will remind folks who are watching at home that you can email such testimony to ccc.csit@boston.gov. But I do expect to be making a recommendation on Wednesday. So if you're looking to testify on these, probably best to do it before Wednesday at noon. And with that, this hearing of the Boston City Council's Committee on City Services and Innovation Technology is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Counselor.